Welcome to LimeWedgeLoej. I'm going to pick who I think is going to win each of the Division 1 basketball league. One of the things I really enjoy is pointless picking, so that's why I'm here. Because for anyone who's wondering, it is January 14th, which is way too early to pick the winner of anything in college basketball. But when has that stopped anyone? And also, in college basketball, there's a lot of teams I like. So, I'm probably going to be a little bit biased. And I can get away with it. You know why? Because I'm not employed by ESPN or anybody like that. So, I can be biased and get away with it. So, if you don't like it, then I'm sorry. I am genuinely sorry that you do not like the same teams that I do. And you are more than welcome to jump on the bandwagon. Okay, I've got this set up where, I'm not going to do it horribly in depth. Oh, well, this team, this team, this team, this team, this team. I might do that a little bit later in the season, when it's getting down to conference tournament time, who I think is going to win each individual tournament, because I think that would be something neat to do. But right now, let's just jump into it. Who do I think is going to win the American East? Well, I'm going to have to pull up. Right now, I'm going to pull up 4 of them. Because I'm not going to do this for every conference, but I just don't know these teams. Okay, let's see. At Stony Brook. Who have you beaten and who have you lost to? One of your losses was to UConn, which isn't a bad loss. Maryland isn't a bad loss, and Seton Hall isn't a bad loss. They're big boy schools. The Sacred Heart is a little bit concerning to me because, Sacred Heart, I'm not sure how good they are either because, all these mid-major 5-10, that's not a great loss. But other than that, that's pretty good. Cornell is probably one of the best wins on there. So I'm going to give them a solid meh for right now. Not great, not horrible. And Albany, the Great Danes, they lost at Ohio State. They beat, how do you say, Duke, Duke's knee or something like that. Duke's net. I don't know. But, that's why I'm just, sitting here kind of mulling it over because they lost to the Winnipeg Bobcats. How bad are they? They're not. They're not that great. So I like the win over Washington, and even though they did lose by 20 to Ohio State, it's still Ohio State. I lost to Vermont. Yeah, they'll get a solid meh as well, but I like their meh a little bit better. Vermont. Let's see, lost to Boston University, the College of Charleston, Rhode Island, and Townsend, and UConn. That's all kind of meh, because it's not great. And no real wins that stand out except they beat Albany bad. I didn't see that on Albany's. So that would give them a step up. And Hartford. Let's see. Arizona State. That's not a horrible one. LaSalle. Mount St. Mary. Yeah, I don't. Hartford's just lost so many. I probably have to just go with Stony Brook just by the fact they're unbeaten. And if not, the next one I would go with is Vermont. So for now, I'm going with Stony Brook. Okay, the Atlantic 10. This one I've done a little bit more research on because I know and like quite a few teams in here. Because let's just go through and any of the teams 0-2 except Dayton. I think Dayton, but first of all, you can never count out Dayton. That's just how Dayton is. But I think they're actually a lot better than their record shows because you see these losses. First of all, Colorado is a really good team, in my opinion. Weber State is one of the better mid-majors. At least I think record should reflect that. Yes, 10-3, 5-0 in the Big Sky. I really like Dayton. They just had a couple of bad games against good A10 teams. So eliminate the other ones. Fordham out. George Washington out. St. Joseph's, even though they're only 9-5, they just haven't been playing as great as I thought they would. St. Joseph's lost to Florida State. They did beat Notre Dame, which was impressive. But, beat Harvard, they lost to Creighton. That's not bad, not bad. Fairfield, I think they're a pretty good mid-major. 10-8, and they're not as good as I thought they were. I don't know. I may have been a little bit too quick on St. Joe's. They still have a chance. I'm not picking them by any means, but this is, for the record, right now, this is regular season title. I'm not picking, the tournament champion. All of these teams through here who have one loss already, they're still very much in it, but I believe one of the ones is coming from up here. Mainly right here, Butler. Butler is, first of all, the whole A10 is considered kind of mid-majors. They're right on the verge of being, a power conference. Because they've got so much talent in them now. I honestly think the Atlantic 10 is going to take over where the Big East is pretty soon. Because the Big East was so many automatic calls. It's kind of looking like it's going to be where Butler's almost automatic, VCU's almost automatic, Temple's almost automatic, just with only 4 losses. I know they're going to beat each other up pretty bad in conference play, but 4 losses isn't bad for conferences like this. And as you can see in these pretty colors over here, these are my 2 North Carolina teams that I like. This is my number 1 team right here, North Carolina State University. Go Wolfpack! So yeah, I am extremely happy because just a couple nights ago, I was watching as NC State was able to hold off Duke, and that was one of the happiest nights of my life. And then some people, oh, you've got a really sad life. And if you're watching this long enough to hear that, and you say that, you're watching a guy in the early season predict the winners of the conferences. You have no room to talk. You love sports as much as I do. So, bah, humbug. But the ACC, I'll go with there first. NC State's going to win it. They just have the best talent, and they're playing the best. Duke will give us a run for our money, but I'm going to run through, who I think's out in the tournament and stuff like that, because I know the ACC team's a little bit better. NC State is a lock. Miami, I think, is a likely lock. Duke is a lock. Florida State is I think they're solid on the bubble. Wake Forest, right now, is on the bad side of the bubble, but with an excellent ACC record, they can play their way in. I know that's shocking, but you can't keep Wake Forest down for too long. Maryland, I think they're having a slow start. They will have to pick up an ACC play. Virginia, well, Maryland, I think they are on the good side of the bubble right now, but need to improve. Virginia is barely on the good side of the bubble. UNC is teetering. They're right on the middle. I can't say they're in or out. Just because the committee loves North Carolina, I'd say they're in right now. Virginia Tech, I would say, is out. Clemson, out. Boston College, out. And Georgia Tech, out. Any of those teams can still play their way in if they, get hot. But that's basically anyone. And now just look at the Atlantic side. Just looking at this, there are only two teams I consider even possible regular season champions just by their records. Mercer, and just looking at who they beat Florida State. But then New Mexico, I like looking at stuff. They beat Alabama, not that Alabama's great. But they lost to Georgia, who isn't great either. And then Florida Gulf Coast. They lost to Duke, but they beat Miami, and Miami's a good team. But they lost to VCU. I think Florida Gulf Coast. I think they just have the best resume, and they've played enough good teams that they'll be getting better. And you can see the out-of-state team I chose to root for. And so, this is another conference that is extremely difficult to predict because there is just so much quality all throughout top to bottom. First of all is Baylor. Baylor is absolutely excellent in my opinion. Because let's look at this. They lost to Colorado. Not a bad loss. The only questionable loss is Northwestern. And Northwestern, you know, can play good when they want to. And they also lost to Gonzaga. You can't fault them for that. Their first big test will come tonight at 9 o'clock when they go to Fog Allen. And I'll be rooting for my Jayhawks. Rock Chalk Jayhawk. So, Kansas, their only loss came to guess who? Do we recognize anyone on this list? Michigan State. A ranked team. There is absolutely no shame in that loss. But look at who Kansas has beat. Colorado, Oregon State, who's nothing to scoff at, Belmont, who is one of the better mid-majors, Richmond, who's so-so in the A10, Ohio State, and just how they beat Ohio State. And since Ohio State recently beat Michigan, I think that a certain number 6 Jayhawk team will jump up pretty high. They had to go to overtime for Iowa State, but that's understandable because Iowa State is also one of the better teams. But enough just going through them, because if I do that, then this video will last an hour because I'm already at 15 minutes, so I'm going to try and skim it down. Baylor, I believe, is in. Kansas is in. I believe Kansas is going to win the division. Kansas State in the tournament. Oklahoma in the tournament. Iowa State, the good side of the bubble. Oklahoma State, the good side of the bubble. Out, 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 out. And I'm sorry, Texas fans, but I have one word for you. Shamanad. And no, it's not Jewish like Mazel Tov or something. Okay, now to the Big East. One of the last years we're going to get to say the Big East and actually see this conference. I am honestly extremely sad because this, to me, is sports at its best. Every year, you come in, you don't know who's going to win this. It has so many excellent teams that, as a sports fan, this is almost sacred. And the fact that they're tearing it apart is horrible, because the Big East tournament, that's some of the best basketball, and it's day after day after day. All those games the first day, all those games the second day, then games third, fourth. But right now, it's hard to say between Syracuse and Louisville. Because right like this, you see, we're gonna see. Because their only loss was the Temple, which isn't a bad loss. But they beat San Diego State, and that's their only real marquee win. Not that you need an extremely strong out of conference schedule when you're Syracuse and you're going to be battle tested in the Big East. Then there's Louisville. 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 They beat Mizzou, which is an excellent win. But other than that, they don't really have a huge marquee win. Kentucky's nice, and since there was a big rivalry game, they adds extra points. And then Memphis, Memphis is always pretty good, even though since their coach abandoned them for Kentucky. Yeah, that's, yeah. College of Charleston is a pretty good win too. I think that I'll look at Marquette because this division is still wide open. Because I like Marquette, and their 3 losses, Green Bay is the only bad loss here. Because Green Bay, I think, is an average mid-major team. Yeah, 8-9, and the Horizon League's pretty good, but yeah. I would have to pick Louisville to come out. But as for tournament, in, 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 in a stronger bubble, in a weak bubble, in on the bad side of the bubble. A very, very weak bubble is what I see. Because, their losses are actually pretty good comparing them. They're better than I thought. The only bad one is Gardner Webb. Wichita State is a really good loss. West Kentucky can be a good loss depending on how they play. Loyola, if this is the Loyola, I think because there's a couple ones. That's not a horrible loss. Seton Hall, that's not a horrible loss. So, their case is stronger than I thought, but they're still on the bad side of the bubble. Pittsburgh, 1-3 isn't going to get the job done, but I have to look at their non-conference schedule. They lost to Michigan, which that's not a bad loss. Beat everyone else. So I'm going to give them in, but it's a weak in. They have to do more work in the conference. Seton Hall, I'd put them out right now. Because LSU's not a great loss. Washington, not really that great. A loss to Providence. I'd say the weak side, or outside looking in. They need to get on the right side of the bubble. Providence, I'm going to just look at. Not that I think I'd even have to. UMass, Penn State, me, yeah. Providence is far on the outside. They're on the outside of the bubble. They're not even on the bubble. Same with St. John's in South Florida. Because I'm not saying any Big East team is out, but yeah, they're pretty close. Now, this one I believe is fairly obvious that there's only two real teams in the Big Sky that are competing for it. I mean, they're all competing for it, but really competitive. Montana. Let's see, they lost to BYU. Not a horrible loss. Not a horrible loss there. Not a horrible loss there. And not a horrible loss there. They're four losses. I actually like these four losses. Those are some of the better teams that you can lose to. San Jose State, that's not a horrible loss, I don't think. Not horrible. And BYU, that's not a horrible loss. And their win, Dayton's a pretty good win. I would give, I like them both. I will pick Montana, because I like Montana. They don't really have any key wins, but I like their losses better, because neither team has any real key wins. So I'll pick Montana to win it and get in the tournament. And I will say, Weber State is on the bubble, and all the other teams are eliminated unless they can win the Big Sky tournament. Now the Peak South. Let me first I'll get this out of the way. None of these teams are going to make the NCAA tournament except through the Big South tournament, obviously. And I'm picking, because all the other ones I picked to win the conference were just, oh, they're going to win the regular season, yada yada. But this one's a little bit different, because I'm going to pick who I think is going to win the regular season in both sides, top and bottom. And then I'm going to pick who I think is going to get in the tournament from this conference. Because, none of these teams have good records. Virginia Military, Campbell's just, horrible. How they're 3-0 in the division, I don't know. How they beat ECU, I don't know. My friend goes to Campbell. Actually, yeah, you would know him. He's called Naismith. He goes to Campbell. Go stalk him. His name's Sean. If you find him, then ask him out. Feel free. He only bites a little bit. He bites a lot. You should really get him a muzzle. Yes, if you see Sean, give him a muzzle and say, Joel said give you a muzzle. If you do that, I will love you forever. You will be awesome. And make sure to give him your YouTube, and I will plug it on here, your Facebook, and I will plug it on here. Because they say, here, Joe said give you this, and if I did this, he would plug it, even though Sean may not give it to me, so. No, you embarrassed me, you embarrassed me. I gave him a muzzle. I guess that would be embarrassing, but I digress. But if you do that, it will be really funny, and it will be awesome. Yeah, Campbell's bad. Charleston Southern. I don't, it makes me make noises, but their losses, the way they lost those games, I kind of like. I'm going to pick Charleston Southern to win the South. I'm going to pick just Virginia Military just because they look like they failed less than the other ones. And I want to say Charleston Southern will win the excuse me, will win the whole Big South tournament. But don't sleep on UNC Asheville. The way they played against NC State was inspired, and I think they can do it. All the Big Ten, my old nemesis. This one is a real toss-up, but I believe that the Buckeyes are going to win it. The Buckeyes will end up taking the regular season, and as for the tournament, I believe, you know, in, 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 uh, out, and we'll need a whole lot of help in on the outside of the bubble. I'm gonna check just to make sure that yeah, they beat anyone. They beat West Kentucky. That's not a bad loss. So loss. Not bad losses. So I'm going to give them to be determined. They need at least one quality win to help add to their resume. They actually need a couple more because if they don't get a few quality wins, I do believe that a mid-major will jump in and steal it. You know, they're still the bid, but Northwestern. I'm just going to look just for the sake, but I really don't think there's much hope here. Um, none of those are really good wins. It's okay loss. So so kind of bad loss. It's a pretty good win. Not a bad loss. Not a bad loss. Not a bad loss. Not a bad loss. Northwestern is on the outside looking in. But let's be realistic. Look at all these ranked teams. They play more ranked teams than they do unranked teams. I don't. Northwestern still has a chance, but they're gonna have to get hot, and then out and out. Sorry, Husker and Nittany Lion fans. Now this is actually a conference I've been paying attention to, mainly because of what Pacific did, and I am high on Pacific. Because I want you to look at this. They beat Xavier. They beat St. Mary's. And that is what just kind of blew me away when they did those two things. Now that I remember it, it wasn't nearly as impressive. Plus, look, St. Mary's came back and showed them who was boss. They did lose against Long Beach State, and that's who they're really going to have to be facing for, this whole thing. The next one I want to look at is Long Beach State. Excuse me again. Who did they lose against? Cal Poly. It's not a great loss, but it happens in conference play. So, and now I have to look at Cal State Fullerton, and then that will fully tell me who I think's going to win it. Cause not a bad loss, not a bad loss. Kind of bad losses, except for Washington. That's acceptable. They lost to Hawaii. All I can say is this is going to be an excellent one. But based on what I see here, only the divisional winner is going to get into the postseason. But it could be any of these top teams right here, including Hawaii. Hawaii's done a few good things. But right now, Long Beach State has been there and done that. I think they're going to win it. And the tournament too. We'll give them the bid and the tournament and the regular season. Let's see. The Colonial. Northeastern. First of all, only the winner is going to get in. That's pretty much the horrible, ugly truth of the matter. But I don't know enough about these past, so I'm just going to look at the top four. I'm going to skim through them real quick. So bad losses. Any good wins? Belmont is a good win. Drexel. Northeastern, I'll give a meh. Lost to Duke, lost to Temple, only by 5 though. Lost to Pitt convincingly, not that bad. They beat Virginia. Penn, Rider of Dominion, not a whole very horribly impressive. I'll give them a slightly lower meh. So Northeastern still at James Madison. Let's see. Bad loss, bad loss. Kinda bad loss. I'm not sure how good East Tennessee State is. Kinda bad losses, except that, even though they did lose by a lot. Not a horrible loss, but yeah, I'm still sticking with Northeastern unless Towson wows me. That's actually pretty impressive. Their losses aren't by a lot, which I like, but it's not enough for me to say they're going to beat Northeastern. I picked Northeastern. And now to Conference USA. I think that Memphis is obviously the team beat just by everything. And this one is really too early in for me to tell anything definitive. At least I think it is. But Memphis, their only 3 losses are to really good teams. And they haven't beaten any really good teams, but I can let that slide for right now. Just because, just looking at them. Right now, I think, unless one of the other couple of teams really wows me. Overtime wins. Not horrible losses, but no wins. They are still a bubble team. Let's see, UTEP. Not horrible losses. That's a good loss. It's a good win. No, that's an excellent win, actually. That's a marquee win. I like the UTEP Miners because they did get a marquee win. I believe that the UTEP Miners might actually be. Well, this is just in my predicting ahead. Simulate all these in my head, and I believe they're on the good side of the bubble. So I actually am predicting Memphis to win this, but UTEP will get they will get an at-large bid. Because I'm gonna have to look through these quite a bit, actually. Not a bad loss. I don't think, kinda bad loss. Kinda. No more key wins, really. So I'm gonna say Tulsa needs a lot of work in conference, and they still be struggling for a at-large bid. Houston, come on, give me something to work with, Houston. I want to put you in. Prairie View A&M, it's a 1-point loss, but an L's an L. That's a bad loss. Texas A&M's not a bad loss, but it would have been a good win. No more key wins. You'll have to get your more key wins in conference. So I'll give you a to be determined grade and say you're solidly on the bubble, not in, not out. Solid. UCF, something tells me they had a lot of fodder to fatten them up. Yeah, I see a lot of fodder in here. They got 13's not horrible. Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders. That's not a bad loss. Yeah, that's a pretty good loss. Kind of bad loss, kind of good win. But I would actually say UCF is on the bubble too. Maybe I would give them a slight on the good side. Because this, just from what I've seen so far, looks like a weak year for the mid-majors. So they won't be, stealing a lot of bids, it doesn't look like. And I'm going to have to watch out. I'm running out of water. And I have been talking for 37 minutes. And so it's getting a little bit hard for me. Because I had no idea I was going to be talking for this long. Because I know absolutely no one is going to watch it to the end of the video. And if you did, please, please, please comment. Please. Let's see. TCU, I haven't mentioned them, but Arkansas, Little Rock, they're not that great this year. Yeah, they're okay, but they're not, really great. When they beat Utah and they lost to Utah. So that's, a toss-up, a win and a loss. They lost to Wyoming. That's not a bad loss. So I'm going to give them. They need more work to do to get in, because they don't have any really good wins. On Tulane. Just for the record, UAB and Rice, you're gone. Georgia Tech. That's kind of a bad loss. Okay, let's see. Kind of bad loss, but not horrible. San Diego, University of San Diego. That's not a horrible loss, but I still see no marquee wins. So I'm gonna say they need help too in conference. But right now I already said who I thought was gonna win. Just for the record, both out. Great West has no automatic bid. So, not gonna worry about them, cause none of them are getting in a large bid either. I'm so sorry if you are a Great West fan, but yeah. Wright State. I love the Horizon League for the record. They have so many excellent teams. Wright State, Valparaiso, and Detroit are the ones I'm going to focus in on right now. Let's see. Central Michigan, Utah, and Bowling Green. Cincinnati, those aren't horrible losses, but Again, another no more key wins. So right now, Wright State appears to be a favorite, it looks like, to win the Horizon, but it is far from a given. Valparaiso, let's see, not a horrible loss. They don't have any marquee wins either. Murray State is the closest thing, and I will say that's a marquee win just for the sake of argument. Detroit, they have more losses. I only lost to Syracuse by 4. Pitt, that's not horrible. Bowling Green, I have to look at you, because I don't, yeah, that is kind of horrible. St. John's, and so they are not horrible, but I will give them outside looking in for a potential at-large berth. So right now I would give it the Wright State, and these two could also get an at-large berth, but I wouldn't hold your breath if you're a fan of the team. Oh, and for the record, I think the rest of them are pretty much out. Cleveland State could make a run, and obviously anyone could win the tournament, but I don't see that happening. With the Ivy League, it's too early to tell, but just for the sake of it, I'll say Hawk and just kind of move on. Because, like I said, it's way too early in that league. Here, I'm going to say there are 4 candidates, and we will look through them really quickly. And I will try and make this under an hour because this is absolutely horrible. Just really horrible. A couple good wins, a couple bad losses in here for Iona. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Because even though they are only 1 loss in the thing, still don't like it. Now I'm out of water, so I'm probably going to start coughing. Not a bad loss. Yes, that's a loss. Not bad losses, no more key win. Let's see. Better. I actually like them better. I like Loyola. And Ryder. Let's see, are you going to give me anything to work with, Ryder? No, you are giving me very little to work with. I'm going to have to go with Loyola. Sorry! I know that's gotta be loud. Let me try and stop my coughing. So Loyola from there, and I don't see any of the other ones getting a wild card. The Mid-American, this is another toughie because it's just started. I'm just going to look at these 3 because Toledo maybe 2-0, but 6-7. It doesn't earn my respect. The Zips. Overtime loss, not bad. Not horrible. Not bad, not bad. Okay, now I've gotten smart and got a cough drop. Yay for me. Sorry about just pausing and then just going randomly to, oh, I got a cough drop. But yeah. Not 4 bad losses. No real great wins, but some solid wins. The Middle Tennessee win was actually pretty excellent. I must admit, I do rather like that win. say Middle Tennessee. No, I did not want to go to that page. Lord of mercy. So I do like the Akron Zips. Zips, zips, zips. Don't sleep on the zips. Ohio, Winthrop, UMass, Oklahoma. It's not a bad one. So, they don't have too many losses. They don't have too many good wins. I'll give them a kinda yeah, but not really. Kent State, you got anything good for me, buddy? Not bad, not horrible. So, but that's still not a great win. Kent State has a chance, but not that great a one. It's going to be one of these two. And the one that doesn't get in, I think, with the tournament, I think the other one will get a at-large berth. Here's another, excuse me again, rather difficult one to pick, because they're all horrible records. I'm just going to say that we can pretty much say that if you start 0-2, these are out. Howard, I'm going to say is out too. I'm going to actually say all of these with one loss are out already. Morgan State probably out too. Just the top two for the sake of argument. Yeah, not great. Don't see any really good wins. They lost all of these. Those are close losses, but close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. So I'm not too keen on that. How about you? Okay, North Carolina Central. That's not a horrible loss. No real great wins. Yeah, so I'm gonna give them a meh. I think that Norfolk State's gonna get in. And now the Missouri Valley. This is another really good one. Right now, with Creighton only having one loss, you have to look at them and say, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Because they beat Wisconsin, Arizona State, St. Joe's, Akron, Evansville, Indiana State. Only one in their conference that doesn't have a loss. I mean, in conference. They've lost one game overall. I always like the Wichita State Shockers. And their only losses were to Evansville, who is pretty good in their own right based on the division, and Tennessee, which isn't a bad one. They have a couple of good, but no really huge marquee ones, unless you count VCU. But I think the overall body of work is going to be where they're going to get into. So even though Creighton will win the tournament, Wichita State will still get in as an at-large. Evansville, let's see. Those are good teams they lost to. A good team. The only one who doesn't appear to be a great team is Buffalo. So only one of their losses is a bad one. And they have a win over a ranked Wichita State team. So Evansville is right on the bubble. They'll need to knock off Creighton. And if they can knock off Creighton, or knock off Wichita State again, along with win a good part of their conference games, they're going dancing. So Evansville might want to, I was going to say put on their dancing shoes, but they might want to practice basketball first before they practice dancing. And just for the sake of argument, since it's such a good conference and they have a good record, they lost at UCLA. That's not horrible. Um, loss. That's not horrible, and in overtime helps. Morehead State. How are you this year, Morehead State? Not that great. They beat Ole Miss, which is a pretty good win. Actually, that's an amazing win. That's an excellent win that you can hang your hat on right there. Um, Miami, that's another excellent win they can hang their hat on there. Illinois State, not really. Northern Iowa. Let's see, I don't know. That is a divisional game, but I'd say they're solid on the bubble too, because they've got quite a few good ones, but they're going to have to win a lot more. So I think Creighton comes out, but Wichita State gets in. Evansville's on the bubble. Indiana State is on the bubble but needs help. Mountain West. I believe that most of this division will go. I think San Diego State's going to end up winning it because they have the experience. They'll win it. They'll get the automatic bid. But New Mexico is going to get in. I don't need to even look at them. I want to look at Boise State. Because Boise State, their only two losses are to Utah, who has beat quite a few good teams this year, and Michigan State. And have they really beaten anyone? Not really. So, that's... Oh, wait, they beat Creighton. I didn't even see that. That is a huge win. Never mind. So, and they beat Wyoming, which, is which is divisional, but they hadn't lost a game, I don't think, until then. And we'll get to see in a couple days how they are when they face New Mexico. In Wyoming, the only loss being the Boise State. Let's see if they got any really good marquee wins. Yeah, they beat Colorado. That's one they can hang their hat on. NC Central, not really. Southern. Yeah, that's a pretty good one they can hang their hat on now. So they've got. I'd say that Wyoming's in. They're not solid in, but I think they're in. UNLV is in. Air Force. I don't know about Air Force. That's not a bad loss. Not a bad loss. Not a bad loss. So loss. Any really good wins? No. They'll need some help. They'll have to beat up on their people in the division if they want to get in. Colorado State. I think they'll get in too, because they only have 3 losses right now. And they're to Colorado, which isn't a bad loss, San Diego State, and one kind of bad loss. They beat Evansville, which is a good win. Washington, which I should really look because I mentioned them so much, it seems. That's a pretty good win. That's a better win than I thought, actually. UTEP, which is so St. Bonaventure, I think they're in. Nevada, they have a chance. I don't think Fresno State's going to get in. But, let's see, Nevada. You see Irvine, so. Win, no huge wins there. Marshall lost, that's not great. Pacific, Drake, We have one win over San Francisco, and that's about their best win. I don't think Nevada gets in. But A lot of the Mountain West will get in. We have a lot more to go. This is disheartening. So, I was thinking that I was close to the end. Evidently not. Maybe I should have rethought this before I started. Because now I'm going to end up uploading an hour-and-a-half video. I'm going to be like, wow, all you're doing is talking in the same monotone Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, because earlier I said if someone watches all this comment, now if someone watches to what? Probably only like the 3/4 mark. Lord have mercy. But yeah, based on record, it looks like Bryant University or Wagner is the only two real threats. Not a bad loss, not a horrible loss, kind of a good win, and so. And Lehigh is probably their best. I don't particularly like Bryant, but a win, not a horrible loss, not a horrible. Not sure about you. My computer's probably getting very mad at me because of the fact that I'm still recording. Yeah, they're not. Yeah, I'm gonna just say, for the sake of argument, that Bryant's gonna do it. It just, that point looks good and feels good. Oh, Lord have mercy, this one's the hard one. Murray State in the West, obviously. Tennessee State, East Kentucky, and Belmont. I know Belmont's good. I have to look at Jacksonville State, too, to see if they get in. Actually, I'll need to look at Murray State, too, to see if they get in. I want to look at Murray State first, because that's all I have to look at with this. Which I should have brought them up first. Good win, so win, not a bad loss. Good win, pretty good win, not a horrible. Oh, they were a bubble team, but I think they're gonna get in. But now look, Tennessee. Those are not bad losses. So win. Sorry about the coughing again. I don't like those. Let's see, Eastern Kentucky. I like this one better. Still not thrilled by it, but I like Eastern Kentucky better. I think I'm gonna like Belmont best. Yeah, I like them so far. They have a couple good wins. I'm gonna pick Belmont. Actually, let me look at Jacksonville State. Yeah, I need to look at them. Those are good losses. No real great wins, so they're a bubble team. Well, I mean, they're all bubble teams that I see, but I think they're on the weaker side of the bubble, slightly out. And Jacksonville State is right now slightly closer to being in, which is strange to me, but. And now another power conference that's going to get a lot of teams in. I've seen nothing why Oregon won't get in. So UCLA in, Oregon in. Let me check it to Washington, because I know I looked at you just a minute ago. Albany, not a horrible loss. No ESPN. Lord have mercy. Not a horrible loss. Pretty good win. Don't really have a big marquee win, but I think they'll get in anyway. They'll be on the bubble at the end of the season. Arizona obviously in. I don't see how they could fall far enough where they wouldn't be in. I think Arizona State. I think they will get in eventually. But if not, it'll be close. And they'll end up in the NIT. That's just how close this is. Cal, I don't think will make the cut. If they do, it'll be close. Let me see, Georgia Tech, that's Pacific. Not a great loss. That's a pretty good loss and it was close. It's an okay loss. Not a great loss. Yeah, I don't. Cal, it needs some help. USC, no. Colorado, I think yes. But it's going to be difficult and they have to start winning some conference games because they beat Baylor, they beat Dayton, they beat all these good teams. They lost to a good team, they beat a pretty good team, they lost to a good team, win, win, win. They didn't lose to any horrible teams is the main thing, and they've beaten most of the people they should. Stanford, them and Oregon State will need some help. I'm debating on not even looking at them since they're 0-. Oregon State because they're 0 in the conference, but I will. Not a bad loss, not a bad loss, not a bad loss, not a bad loss, but no real good wins. They'll need some help, but I don't see them making it. Let's see, Kansas, Alabama, not a great loss. But they'll need some help too. But I don't think Oregon State's going to make it. And just so any Washington State fans or Utah fans will see this, say, well, you said Utah beat all these good teams, and Washington State fans say, well, you look at them and they were 0-3, why don't you look at us? Okay, no great wins that I see. No horrible losses. Pepperdine kind of stings. I don't see y'all making it. Sorry. Utah. Bad loss. So loss. That's a pretty good win. Pretty good win. So loss. So loss. Loss. They'll need to win a lot. They can do it, but I don't see it happening. Lehigh makes it, and let's see, Bucknell. See a pretty good. Yeah, Princeton and Penn State losses are kind of bad, but that's a close one. I think both of them will get in, but Lehigh takes it. None of the rest get in. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Lord of mercy. The SEC. I'm gonna still try and keep doing this good, because if anyone's watching it this long, and I'll try and keep it quality for you. Because, I think a lot of these are very misleading, and I'm just going to still just skim through them and look if I feel the need. It's like Tennessee, I think is, on the outside, with not a whole lot of hope. And yes, I'm starting at the bottom for some reason. Just because I can see if I can give you any hope. Not a bad. Excellent win. Pretty good win. Not bad. Not horrible. It's Alabama a lot better than I thought it was. Not really. But I'll look at Alabama next. All you Tide fans who are still happy about destroying Notre Dame, I would like to have seen you played Oregon, but no. Pretty good win. Not bad. None of those are really bad. Mercer, maybe. Tulane, maybe. Yeah. You'll be on the bubble just like Tennessee. You need to win a lot in the conference. You got to turn it around. LSU. Maybe I harshly judged LSU by saying they were kind of bad. Actually, let me see Auburn. Where's Auburn? Pretty good in conference. I might have misjudged LSU as being bad. Because LSU actually looks pretty good. I'm sorry, LSU fans. I was wrong. They're on the edge too. South Carolina, Auburn, St. John's, Clemson, Elon. Not horrible. Elon's a little questionable. I don't see any great wins. So I'm going to give you on the bubble too. There's going to be a lot of SEC teams on the bubble this year. And whose bubble is going to be burst by conference play. Kentucky, I am going to say, is probably on the good side of the bubble because they're Kentucky. They're defending national champions. And I thought I heard a horn blow, so I'll be right back, which there shouldn't be because it's 5:29 a.m. Yeah, I'm just accepted. I'm going crazy. Kentucky. All their losses I see are pretty good. Pretty good losses. Any good wins? Not really, but Maryland, I'll say, is a pretty good one. But I think Kentucky gets in. Just because they were ranked early in the season, you can't just kick them out now. Arkansas. Not bad, not bad, not bad, not bad, not bad. It's a pretty good win. Pretty good win. I'd say Arkansas probably gets in. They're on the bubble, but I'd say they're on the good side, slightly good side. Missouri is in. Mississippi State. Since you have a 2-0 record, I will still give you a look, even though I really don't think so. Because you've lost half the games you played. Not horrible. Let me see. Alabama A&M. Pretty bad. Not horrible, not horrible, not horrible. I'd say you're not getting in. I'm sorry. We beat South Carolina and Georgia. South Carolina, I'm afraid for them if they keep playing like that. Auburn just 2-0 because I'll pander to you. Lost to Murray State, not bad, not bad. Kinda. Any really good wins? No. Florida State and LSU and South Carolina, maybe. I will give you a very, very, very weak bubble. You can play yourself onto the bubble if you play good. And Texas A&M, Florida, and Ole Miss, I am pretty sure I'm going to say are all in. Because, yeah, St. Louis, Oklahoma, and Southern Me. I'm going to say you are on the bubble. I know it's hard to say with 3 losses you're on the bubble. Well, then you beat Kentucky. That is a pretty good win. You're on the good side of the bubble. But you're still on the bubble, but you're kind of solid in there. You're right where the bubble starts and safe field ends. A few bad losses in conference play, but just a couple good wins and all those other things are forgiven. Florida and Ole Miss, I already looked at you. I give you an in, and I'm gonna say Ole Miss wins the automatic because they're at the top, and they've been playing pretty good. I hate things like this. Charleston, Davison. West Carolina, and I'm just going to pull up Samford for the sake of argument. First, I want to go ahead and get Samford and West Carolina out of the way. Because, this is absolutely ridiculous. How they lost all these teams. Yeah, Samford looks like a joke. West Carolina. Not horrible. A couple of kind of bad. No real good wins. Yeah. Let's see. Davison. They did lose a lot, and a couple of these losses are bad. But the West Virginia is so. I'd say Davison's probably on the outside looking in. They can still win it, but right now it's an excellent win. Kind of bad. Stanford's a horrible loss. I'm gonna choose Charleston, but Davison might win it. I don't think it gets 2. I just don't. I don't think the Southern gets 2. And I'm gonna say, just for the sake of argument, that Stanford will win it because they've been playing pretty good in division. Not that the other ones haven't, but I have to have something to divide them apart, and Stanford just stands out for the North. Let's see. There's a few of these, I'm only going to do these 3 because I believe the others are kind of pretenders. Let's see. Texas A&M, excellent loss. And that's their only loss, and then a win. That's pretty good. I'd say they're on the bubble, but I'd say they're in. Okay, losses. Yeah. I say that they're on the bubble on the outside looking in, but they got promise. What was I looking at to start with? Sam? I thought I was looking at Sam here. Oh, SF Houston. Stephen F. Austin or Sam Houston State. Confusing. Yeah, Sam Houston State, I believe, is a weak bubble. So I'm honestly Stephen F. Houston Austin. Stephen F. Austin is the team that will get in there, and no other ones will. And I'm sorry, but I've been doing this for an hour and 13 minutes now, and it is really getting to me. And I still have 5 more to go. I expected this to take me maybe 30 minutes at most. And I'm completely crazy because this is completely pointless, and if anyone watches all this video, I will jump off a couch. I'm not that. See how crazy you've made me? Made me so crazy. I believe that Southern will win this, but I'm gonna go out on the limb because I'm already on the limb. I'm on the edge. I'm on the edge, and say they're gonna win. Especially, look at this. Look at this. All this. They beat A&M. They had a bad stretch, and some of those aren't great, but I think they're gonna win. They'll be a threat. This one, I believe, these 3 can get in. But pull them up. The rest of you are eliminated. Give up. Well, don't give up, but you're not getting in. You're just not. It's just the way it works. You're just not. Let's see. North Dakota State. That's a good loss. So loss. Good loss. So win. So win. A pretty good win. Yeah, so I think they're a good team. So even if they don't win, I think they can probably get in with at large. Western Illinois. That could be a. Yeah, this looks a little bit different. Those Evansville is the only loss that isn't that horrible. 'Cause let's see. Yeah, that looks like a pretty bad loss. Um, Savannah. Yeah, that's a pretty bad loss. And no huge wins, so I'd say they're on the outside of the bubble looking in. They would need to win it, but I don't see them winning it either. And then there's the South Dakota State. Not a horrible loss. Well, not a bad loss, I mean. Hofstra. See. Yeah, that's a pretty bad loss. Not a bad loss. I don't see any really good wins in here. Except, oh, that is a good win. So there's their good win. South Dakota, but that could be chalked up to a divisional loss. I'd say they're a solid bubble team, but I have to give it to North Dakota State there. So, okay, let's see. The Sun Belt, the West Coast Conference, and the WAC are all that's left. Let's see. Middle Tennessee, I like. And they have a good record. Arkansas, Little Rock E, Arkansas State E. I think by just looking at this, the only one that is a huge threat is Middle Tennessee. But what if they don't? Say West Kentucky plays good like they did in the tournament last year. Arkansas State. And Akron, we already said was a pretty good team. I almost forgot. They're so. So I I don't know if they could get in on their own. They would be close, but I'd say they would need help. But I think they're gonna win that one. Just give this one to Arkansas, Little Rock, and West Kentucky. If not, they'll be good in the NIT. Okay, I don't have any idea where I was at because that was about 30 minutes ago whenever I was last recording. But I think I finished the Sun Belt. Middle Tennessee winning. West Kentucky might do it, but West Kentucky will probably end up in NIT. Arkansas, Little Rock probably wins the West, but that doesn't really matter. West Coast Conference. I think that Gonzaga will win it. Gonzaga is the best team. But somehow I didn't realize San Diego was also 3-0. I'm not sure if St. Mary's will make the tournament. I'm also going to check Santa Clara because they have a good record. I think BYU will make it. And I'm still going to look at Gonzaga. Okay, San Diego. Yeah, there's CSN, Cal State Northridge. That's who I thought it was. But I wanted to make sure UC Santa Barbara. Gun Shoals. Montana. Those are not great losses. Well, Montana. They're better than I thought. Lord of mercy, I can't. I have horrible memory. Which one was SF Houston? They're the one lost one. Never mind, those are better mid-major losses than I thought. Yeah, so. They're all so. But that's the really bad ones. They don't have any quality wins. I think they're going to end up probably an NIT, which is a shame because they look like they do have some talent. I mean, all of them have talent, but you know what I mean. Pacific, Georgia Tech, Northern Iowa. Those are the only ones except for the loss to Gonzaga. But that was a close game. St. Mary's is getting better, as they should. But St. Mary's, I don't think you can snub them from the tournament this year. I think they get in as an at-large. Santa Clara. Duke's not a bad to a rank. Santa Barbara, I'll have to look at this again. I'm not sure. Well, Utah State isn't a bad one. I think Santa Clara might get in. I think they're on the bad side of the bubble right now, but they're a lot more impressive than I thought. They need to win some conference games, though. BYU. Those two losses aren't bad. Those are actually excellent losses. Montana's a pretty good win. Weber State, Utah, Virginia Tech. I actually think BYU's getting in the tournament pretty easily, too. Then Gonzaga. Let's see who they lost to. Illinois. Not a horrible loss. And they beat a list of pretty good teams, so Gonzaga's legit. So Gonzaga comes out, but BYU gets in San Diego. I think it's the NIT. That's what I said they were getting into. In for St. Mary's and the bubble for Santa Clara. And now for the last one. Let me see. I'm trying to get all of it in there. There we go. Utah State. I believe that they're going to come out and win this one. But I still want to check for Louisiana Tech. Oh, there's a lot more good ones in here than I thought. I'm going to leave these, but from just to look at them, they could get... I'll look real quick. San Jose State and Texas Arlington, just to see if I think they could even possibly do anything. Not a bad loss, not a bad loss, not a bad loss. No real huge good wins. New Mexico, that's a pretty good win. Not bad losses, but I don't think they're going to get in. They can get in if they can win their conference games, but I don't think Texas Arlington will do it. San Jose State. Not a bad loss. Kind of a bad loss. Not that bad a loss. Pretty good win. Yeah. San Jose State is even worse. Utah State. No, wait, this was New Mexico State. Let's see. Where were they at? Yeah, right there, 4-2. Not a bad loss. Bucknell, questionable loss. Niagara, UTEP. Not that bad. They'll have to do really, really good in divisional, and then they're still a bubble team. Right now, I think they're a good deal over on the outside the bubble. Denver. Not bad losses. No real good wins. They'll have to do excellent. And I mean excellent and stay excellent. And then they're still likely to be on the wrong side of the bubble. LA Tech. Now this is going to be interesting when they and Utah State meet. But let's see, the three losses. A&M's a good loss. Northwestern State and McNeese State. Northwestern State isn't a bad loss, and McNeese State kinda is. So that's questionable for Louisiana Tech. But I'd still say they're right on the bubble. Since they don't have anything really good or really bad, I'd say they're right on the outside looking in. They'll need a few good conference wins, and I think they might can sneak in even if they don't win the whole thing. Utah State's only loss was to St. Mary's, but that's the only real quality team they played. Weber State, I thought Weber State was pretty good. They are. I just happened to see probably the three teams they lost to. I don't know. The teams they beat, that's what I saw. Never mind. My brain's not here. It's 6:27 in the morning and I haven't went to sleep yet. But yeah, my heart's in it and that's all that matters. So I think Utah State's gonna win it, and I think Louisiana Tech can make it in. So yeah, I'll be back with this probably in very, very, very small parts another time. Because I'm just going to upload this whole giant horribleness. And people are going to be like, oh, this is absolutely terrible. It's the worst thing since sliced bread. And then I'll be like, okay. And then, because, I mean, people are just going to, they're not even going to fathom what to do with this. I can't even fathom what's going on here. But yeah. I thank you for watching, and I hope you know that. Oh, first off, you know that. Maybe if they're lucky, they have a better chance to control their own destiny and control their own destiny. And I think Utah State's going to get in, and Louisiana Tech will be just on the outside looking in. Okay, but yeah, thank you for watching. I am LimeWedgeLoej, who is completely insane to have done something completely ridiculous like this. And if you watch this whole thing, let me know. Please, please let me know. You will have to say the hidden phrase, which is, the mashed potatoes are very pretty today. Repeat, the mashed potatoes are very pretty today. And if you say that, I will know you watched the whole thing or at least skip to the end. I don't know why you would skip to the end because it's not like there was a secret weight loss tip at the end. Weight loss tip. Eat less, and exercise. There you go. Drink water. Something like that. Not too much water. You can actually kill yourself by drinking too much water. But don't worry, you'd have to like drink gallon after gallon after gallon, or let me translate to the rest of the world. You'd have to drink liter after liter after liter. You know, back to back to back, and that would wipe out your electrolytes and you would die. So don't drink all that water. You can drink plenty of water, just don't drink gallons. But yeah, I am still babbling, and it is almost an hour and a half, which is probably why I'm babbling. Because I secretly wanted to make it to an hour and a half, because that means you'll have been watching me talk about meaningless predictions for as long as most Hollywood movies last. In which case I will say that is completely and utterly ridiculous. I'm ridiculous for making this. You're ridiculous for watching this. And if you do watch it to the end, and you leave a dislike after watching it all the way to the end, all I can say is, really? Really? Because I would think if you watched it to the end, you would like it. Because if not, you would have stopped watching after 5 minutes or 2 minutes, like most people do. Ha ha ha. But yeah, thank you. If you like it, dislike, dislike. If you think someone's gonna do something else, comment. You think pigs can fly, then say Merry Christmas because I am something, something, something. A elf in a pink bow hat. So yeah, LimeWedgeLoej, that's me. Viewer, that's you. YouTube, that's what you're watching this on, hopefully. And goodbye because it's after an hour and a half now and it's just keeping going and I don't really want to go for 2 hours. So toodles.